What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about Clover Health, ticker symbol CLOV. I'll cover it on the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame in anticipation for tomorrow's trading day, April 26th. I just want to start off by saying that a lot of people are really interested in CLOV because I've heard that it's a squeeze possibility. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint, but I think it actually is a definitely a squeeze possibility, but we'll dive more into that later. You guys can do me a huge favor, drop a like down on this video, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you ring that bell. Also, if you are interested in 2 free stocks, down below is my Webull referral code. When you do join Webull, you do get 2 free stocks, one when your account's approved, and then the other when you deposit $100 on the platform. And I also do get a free stock as well. And keep in mind, those 2 free stocks can be valued anywhere between $8 and $1,600. So let's go ahead and hop on over here into the technical analysis and cover Clover. So from what I've understood, Clover was essentially a SPAC. And what that means is this company, instead of doing an IPO or direct listing, worked with some investor that said, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll take you public, but I want a cut of your shares. So the investor, I think which was Chamath, got about 20% of the shares of Clover Health. Now, the huge thing that I really just want to highlight here with Clover Health is the fact that our 52-week low is sitting at 631, and then our 52-week high is sitting at 1745. So we're actually trading pretty much close to our low, and SPACs have honestly been utterly decimated by this correction. And honestly, they've been beaten down to the point that keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I have this statement. Nope. Right there. Right there. Right there. So I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But personally, I've been buying leaps for most of my SPACs. VI, CCIV. I bought one for Clover. And what leaps are essentially contracts of looking at 2022 or 2023. And it's a lot less risky of an options contract versus buying the shares. And yeah, I could buy 100 shares, but I wouldn't have the leverage that I do with an options contract. So that's the reason why I went the route of options versus shares. But the fact that these SPACs have been utterly beaten down tells me that they need to correct. And the other thing, before we actually, sorry, I'm kind of like disorganized here, but I want to hop in the Ortex actually and cover Clover Health and Ortex, because the huge thing is it has a buy rate. It has 2 analysts rating at a buy, 2 at a hold, and the target price is $13.25. You look in Webull, we're trading at $8.77 on Friday, so we easily have $5 of movement towards the up direction. But back here in Ortex, to cover the short interest of this, it is an incredibly high shorted stock. I'm talking higher than GameStop and AMC. It's sitting at 38.38% short interest, which is, it's insanely high. Like, there's not words that I can really put on it. It is insanely high short interest on the stock. And if someone said, could this squeeze? I would look at you based off of the short interest and say, yeah, it could definitely squeeze. It is definitely in the realm of possibility of it squeezing. So personally, for me, holding leaps, I'm perfectly fine with it squeezing because I'll definitely have the advantage of it. But the huge thing is, on Friday, the short interest changed by 3.48%, which is insane because this tells me it was almost 42% shorted instead of only 38. And when I say only 38, I'm talking 10% is a shorted stock, 20% is a heavily shorted stock. The fact this is a 38% shorted stock tells me that the shorts are just trying to beat this into the ground again and again and again and again and again, because they believe that this isn't going to work and that this isn't worth the actual price. So that's the reason why the shorts just keep beating it into the ground. And I think that's the reason why the short interest is so high, because our current short interest is 41.29 million reported as of Friday, and reported as of March 31st, it was at 38.5 million. And the days to cover, keep in mind, the days to cover is calculated by your shares on loan, which is your 45 million, divided by your overall volume over a 3-month period. So if we hop back in here to Weeble, and it's our overall 3-month volume is 24.19. Now keep in mind that number is a little bit skewed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here to the day chart and we'll take a look. So 12 million shares was roughly traded on Friday. Our average volume is 24 million. Now if we hop back over here into Ortex, if we take 45 divided that by 24, we get roughly about 1.84. Now if we divide it by 12, which is roughly half of that, we're going to double this number right here, and we're going to be looking at about 3.6, which is a lot of days to cover, which is the whole reason why this cost to borrow is going up. And our utilization sitting at 84%. So there is a very large pool of short interest outstanding on Clover. So this is definitely squeezable. And let's just, for the interest of it, not GME, CLOV. Let's see what this is on Fintel, because I'm sure Fintel will have a higher number. I would not be surprised. So they have 1 million shares, and then they have a short rate bar RFP of 2.07%. So Fintel says that it's higher. Personally, I think this is absolutely a squeezable stock. Do I think it's a good long-term investment? Yes, I think it's a good long-term investment because Clover is going to be around. I was watching a baseball game the other day, and they actually had an advertisement several places in the stadium when the cameras were panning around in the stadium. So they are definitely out there, and they are definitely advertising. But take a look at it on the 1 month. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hop out really to the 1 month time frame and just cover this from a macro perspective. So taking a look here, it seems like our low was at 631, and we've been riding this increased trend line here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, is this respect of this trend line. If we can respect this trend line, then we should be moving in upwards direction. Let's go from the top here, ride this down. So, man, okay, maybe, yeah. Let's drag it out a little bit more. So the huge thing that I'm looking for here, well, come on, why are you making this difficult? The huge thing that I'm looking here is I can see that this is forming a wedge. So if we really want to take a look back here on the year to date, there we go. Thank you. We take a look back here on the year to date. The huge thing is we've been riding essentially this downtrend, and we had the squeeze back here. Wow, actually in December. So we really rode up. And this thing, let's take a look at this. Since it went public, it started at 10, went public at 11, had a pop, sell off, and then, yeah, this is definitely a little bit of a squeeze here. Then we're suffering from the sell off, and now we're trying to find our footing here. So really the huge thing that I'm taking a look at is we've already had a little bit of a squeeze, because I mean this went from 10.06 to $7 in the span of a month. Yeah, about a month really. So the huge thing with this is we still have a very high outstanding balance. And the other thing is here on the MACD, we are definitely in bullish territory. We're about to cross over the equilibrium. Our RSI is sitting above 52. The huge thing that I would look at is, yeah, we've actually had the past 4 days on the day perspective have been indecisions. And the reason why I call these indecision candles is because essentially the price didn't change much within the day. We traded within this much of a price range for total volume. Now, the huge thing that I want to point out here is our 120-day, we're trading below it, and our 60-day, we're trading below it, but we're trading above our 20 days. So on a micro perspective, we are definitely moving in a bullish direction, which is a good thing. The other thing that I'm looking at here too, and I just want to highlight this, is when we had these really 2 strong green days, we had a very large step in volume. The volume was 247 million and 236 versus the past couple of days, which has been 41, 23, 12, and 12. So there definitely is volume that can step in and make this squeeze happen if need be. But really, taking a look at it, the stock doesn't trade much in the form of volume. So these two candles are definitely very abnormal, which might tell me that it was an institutional buyer possibly that was on these past 2 days. Now, looking here, MACD, like I said, bullish. We're sitting here at 52 on the RSI. We're sitting at a bullish point. The huge thing that I'm going to be looking at is following these next couple of days within this wedge that I drew here. I mean, if we really want, we could draw the wedge all the way from here up at the top of our all-time high here. We could draw it down too. And we're touching 3 different points, which is good. So what we can do is we can delete this. So really the huge thing that I'm taking a look at here from our all-time high to our most recent low is what are we going to do once we get over here into this wedge? Are we going to break up or are we going to break down? And really with the short interest, if we get a push with this volume that we did on these 2 days, it is definitely possible that this stock could absolutely squeeze, in my opinion. Because the outstanding short interest on this is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. Like 38%. Like this is bananas. And it just like, if you have a position in Clover and you're waiting for a squeeze, it might squeeze. But the huge thing that I'm going to tell you also is you might want to consider holding Clover for a long-term investment, because I'm definitely going to hold Clover for a long-term investment. I think it definitely could move forward. And the huge thing is these squeezes could take months, years. It could take weeks, it could take anything from days, weeks, months, years. What you need is you need all these factors to come together and for the right thing to happen at the right time. You just can't have high short interest. You have to have high short interest coupled with bullish momentum, coupled with volume and a strong buying pressure to get a squeeze to happen. If you don't have volume and if you don't have a strong bullish momentum along with the buying pressure behind the stock, then it's not going to happen. Just because we have high short interest doesn't mean it's going to squeeze. You need more factors than just this high short interest. And I really want to nail that down, because everyone on Reddit seems to think that just because something has high short interest, it's going to squeeze. It's not going to squeeze just because it has high outstanding short interest. You need more factors to drive the short interest and have them together to cause a short squeeze. Now, the other thing, what we can do is we can take a look at the options chain, because the options chain might actually tell us a good bit about Clover. So for the May 21st, so we're sitting here, we're talking next month, but immediately looking at this right away, Clover doesn't have a fully built out options chain. It doesn't have weeklies. It seems to just have monthly options. So that's the huge thing. And I'm seeing a lot of outstanding short interest here. We have the $30, we have 33,000 open interest. We have 26 at 20. At 15, we have 57,000. At 12.5, we have 46. And at 10, we have 66. So there's definitely a very strong outstanding open interest for the 21st of May. When we take a look at puts here, the puts don't even weigh anywhere close than what the calls are. Like, I can't do all the math in my head, but 3, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot more calls than what there are puts. Now, the huge thing I want to do is I want to hop out to the 18th and just see if the open in. Yeah. Okay. So this is the huge thing is if things were to happen properly, we might be looking at a gamma squeeze here on May 21st because of the outstanding interest. There is a lot of outstanding interest here versus June 18th. There is not nearly enough outstanding interest. And when we hop out here at August, not enough. Like, it's that amount of open interest in Clover for May 21st is definitely an abnormality. This is a lot of short interest. And we're sitting at $8.77 right now. So that's definitely a red flag to me. So May 21st might be a day that you might want to put in a calendar or something like that and just say, okay, well, let's look at the stock close for these couple of days and see what is going and see if the variables are starting to come together. Because if the variables are starting to come together, once again, a lot of buying sentiment, your bullish momentum, and then a large amount of volume coupled by your short interest. If those four things, and then you have the options chain, it definitely is in the cards for a gamma squeeze and possibly a short squeeze. But after that, I don't really see it possibly being a thing because there's not enough outstanding short interest. Now, not short interest, open interest on the options chain. Now, this could definitely change in the next couple of weeks. So keep in mind, just keep an eye on the stock and look at all the different factors. Look at the volume, look at the buying pressure, look at the chart, look at all these different things and make your own decision. You can listen to this video, and I appreciate you guys listening to these videos, but purely, this is not a, okay, this is going to happen video. I cannot confirm anything. Like, it's not going to happen in my opinion. Is Clover Health definitely able to be squoze? Yes, it is definitely able to be squoze. When, if I had to put a day on it, I would say it's more likely looking around this May 21st range. After that, I don't think it's going to be a possibility because this June options chain just doesn't indicate a lot of open interest past May 21st. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hope you guys had a good one. And remember, drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you ring that bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.